we're both here. I didn't make sure we would both be in frame before I did this, so hope you can hear us fine. You thought that was you sharing that you subbed 3 times? It's you sharing your 3-month streak.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. But yes, I'm here to show you all the things I got in Japan, and I took a lot of pictures that I can share as well. I got Laura this Boris shirt.
I'm modeling it today.
She's modeling it.
I guess it's backwards, but it says, he is adventurous and little clumsy. And it has this sepia tone little picture of him that kind of looks like he's dead.
It's in memoriam. Yes, I love it. Laura sent me on a mission to get something Boris, and I wanted to get her the fluffy Boris bear because that's what she loves, who looks like this. But they didn't have him, they just had a shirt of him. So
we take what we can get.
yeah, we take what we can get. Let's see what else I got. I got this Miku. She's so cute. She's subculture Miku. Also, thank you, Billy. Side braid. This is our first Miku.
Baby's first.
I got her from a used figure store, and they had such good prices. I was so torn about what to get, but it was only like our second day there, so I was full of fear that I would want a lot more things. But really, I'm like...
Did you have a second contender?
Just more Mikus, really.
Any.
Just more. But yes, I love her. I think she might live inside the PC. More Mikus! Really, we went to all the best shops the first few days, and I was like, oh, what if I buy stuff later? And then it made me have regrets. Anyways, hi, I hope everybody had a good week while I was away. She's a good PC resident. I've got space on my PC, but I need to buy a dust blower.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've bought a few of the like canned air things before, and they just feel wasteful because they run out really fast. So I want to buy a proper little machine that does it. But I keep waiting. Politically correct president. Yes. Exactly. Okay. Lots of things. I also went to Disney. I got 2 hats. They're both technically for children. But this is one of them. I like it. This is the second one.
This one's my favorite.
This
It
is
looks
also my
so
favorite.
good. The colors.
Hats. I own no hats, and I really need them because I always sunburn my heart when I'm outside. Yeah, the second is also my favorite. But yeah, it's funny. I bought the first one and they didn't say anything about who it was for, and then I bought the second one and they were like, "This is technically for a child, just so you know." And I was like, "Oh, I'll buy it anyway."
It's silly because I feel like the blue one fits me better, and I have a big head, so I would assume that that's for adults. But that one was the one that was specifically like for a kid.
Children. It's weird.
Yeah, but the other one's really shallow.
But I love them. Hopefully I'll wear them. They were afraid of me making the same mistake twice. I wore that hat around all day. It didn't bother me. It was fine. Okay. I got this.
Maybe the best thing.
It's a little acorn thermos. I don't know that it's really supposed to look like an acorn. That's what it looks like to me.
It's so tiny and
It's
so
really
cute.
little and cute. It's great for like 1 cup of tea or something if I was gonna bring it on the go. Would fit very nicely in a bag. Because I'll put everything to the side as I finish talking about it because it's like all over the desk right now, chaotically. Okay, the second one is also from Disney. Hard to see with the light, but it's got Mickey and Minnie on it. And this specifically says Tokyo Disney, but I'm blacked out. But it's also kind of smaller and thermosy, which I was pleased by. Because all my water bottles are pretty big and hard to fit in a bag.
Compare the size.
Your brother said, play a game or I unsubscribe. That is so evil. We're in the just chatting category today.
Yeah.
Feel free to unsub. Okay, let's see. What's next? Laura, you pick.
Yep. Oh, let's finish with the Disney stuff.
Oh, true.
This was also a gift for me. It's curry. It's genie flavored curry.
It's genie flavored. It actually came with 2 different flavors inside. One was a sweet and one was a spicy.
I've tried one. You can't read the back, but I tried one. It was good. It tasted like Japanese curry. And it says the other one is supposed to be spicy, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
And she went for the sweet first because she was a little scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a whole genie gift shop. I wanted it had a genie pin that I wanted, but I was like, I didn't go on the genie ride, so it felt wrong to buy the pin. Let's see. There were a lot of cute food items I wanted to get, honestly. I also bought a bunch of makeup. I bought like 5 lipsticks, 4 or 5. And I got this red eyeliner that I'm wearing, and this lipstick I'm wearing. Before Laura and I only owned 2. This time I was like, I really need lipstick. I have the rose one. Nice. I really like this one. Oh, and I got new eyebrow stuff. I was prepared. We went to the makeup store and I was like, I gotta get stuff. We twin. I'm glad you like it too, Lily. I got matcha and hojicha, which Laura had not tried before. And we made it the past 2 days and she really likes it.
Really good.
Thank you, Bo. Laura was wearing the eyeliner yesterday and she was like, does it look like blood? I was like,
it looks like I cut my eyelids, but like in a very stylish way.
A little slice.
I think it is ceremonial grade matcha.
I think so too. It's good stuff. That's exactly why I like it, blood. That's what I said too. I also got this palette. I haven't really used it yet, but it's pretty. Pretty. Let's see. Oh, and I got a matcha whisk. Because we didn't have one of those. We really needed it. We've just been using a normal whisk.
Like a full-size whisk. In like a small bowl.
It hasn't been ideal.
Ew.
And let's see. I'll show you these cookies I got.
Gluten-free cookies.
These gluten-free shortbread cookies. They're so good. I know, I figured that the matcha and the hojicha, I was like, we should just stock up. They were probably like $8 each. Or less. They were cheap.
And here, matcha's like $25.
Yeah. Matcha's so expensive here. Buffering. Let's see, okay. Oh, I got Post-its. I know, it's very exciting.
Real
We just
Japanese
needed them.
Post-its.
Yep. Authentic. Oh, and this is an exciting one. Naruto Uno? We didn't own Uno. My grandmother saw that I was buying this. I was like, I got Uno. And she's like, what is that?
That's not Uno.
And then afterwards, I kept bringing up that she didn't know what Uno was. And she was like, I'm pretty sure I've heard of it, though. But I don't think she had. I think she was lying. Let's see that. My sister and I got matching Sanrio boxers, which are very cute.
Who are those men?
Who are those men?
True.
Oh, and Laura got Boris.
Boris socks.
I love that they just say Boris. Boris is represented. And I went ham because all of our socks have holes in them.
Who is Boris?
How could you not know who Boris is? This is so embarrassing.
Yeah. Boris is a Miffy character.
Yeah, he's Miffy's friend.
Yeah, he's Miffy's friend, and he's just a little brown bear.
He's just a little guy.
And he's adventurous and little clumsy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, all of our socks were dying, so we got more socks.
They're all very cute.
They're all very cute. I'll briefly flash them all to you all. Many.
Imagine them on some feet.
Only if you want to. These ones are cute. Oh, these ones are the cutest, but they have a little cat.
Yes. In like a very silly place.
I just love them. I wanted to get more stickers, but I didn't have a lot of sticker opportunities, so I just got this one. Very sweet.
Perfect blister placement.
Oh, and I'm so excited I got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's wrapped, so you can't super see it. But it's a used copy, so it was like $35. They're used games there. Super cheap. Super duper cheap. I really wanted to find it while I was there, so I'm glad I did. Oh, and I got a little wooden frame. Again, it's wrapped.
We'll
I don't know
put
what I'm gonna
something
put
in
in
it.
But I love a frame. And I've got this glass that has orange juice in it right now.
This is so cute. Looks like a little baby glass for babies, and you're drinking OJ out of it.
Yeah, it was hand painted. It's very sweet. And then last thing is I got this parasol.
You're gonna open it?
I'm gonna open it.
Yeah! We're not superstitious.
No!
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Tate. I spooked him. It's fine.
The pants are good.
My pants, thank you.
It's giving pirate.
My pirate pants. Ah, I found it. So we went to Kyoto for one day, which we should not have done. It was not long enough to be there. But I got it there, my parasol. They had a lot of cute ones at this one shop. He really did give me the side eye. He was like, why did you do that? You fool! Okay. I took a lot of pictures, and I will show you some of my pictures I took. Oh, there he is again.
His tiny ear.
His little tiny ear. Oh, your face isn't here anymore.
Oh.
You can also adjust it. Sure, that'll work. Anyways, this is the game. I will bring my tab. You hush, game.
State of nice.
So we stopped in Minnesota.
State of nice.
Nice. I just had to share that it's the state of nice in case you didn't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's a nice place to be. This is my airplane food, which was really good. It was polenta with meatballs. I like polenta. I've recently discovered about myself. Oh, and on both of my flights, I got this like ham and cheese sandwich with gluten-free bread. So good. You're from Minnesota, Bo. That's very cool. Minnesotian? From the state of nice. That says a lot about you.
Yeah, it does.
In our Airbnb, we slept in these little cubbies.
It's like a little wooden jail.
It was a little wooden jail. Oh, and I went to this tarot-themed cafe, and it was very good. It looked like this inside. It was extremely cute. I don't know if I have any tarot-related pictures from it, but they gave you, we went there 2 different days, and they give you, like, a different coaster every time you go. I got Lover on one of my days. I think the other day I got the Chariot. I thought I kept that, but I guess not. Oh, yeah. I do have a tarot picture. And they had all these little decks. It looks very cool. I looked through some of them. Oh, this is a giant tech store we went into that had 1 million floors in Akihabara, where I got some various things. I liked it. So much Nintendo. Oh! And here's a doll I wish I bought. There's another thing I got.
Oh, man.
I got this Animal Crossing lunchbox. And it comes with like some bento boxes inside. It's really nice. And it wasn't very expensive. But I'm obsessed with it. This is the store. Picture of station, picture of me taken by my grandmother.
The little cat.
Yeah, this was at a place called Where Is a Dog? Where there were no dogs. It was a cat themed. I thought that was really weird. This is what I ate there.
Oh, my Steven! Hello!
Steven, welcome in! I recently got back from a trip to Japan with my family, so I'm just showing some pictures that I took there. I hope you're having a nice day. Yes, street pic, 7-Eleven pic. This is in Kichijoji, where we went last time too. It was pretty, all the flowers were blooming. It was pretty warm the whole time I was there. It was like mid-70s. Genshin. I had to show it. We stayed by the Sky Tree, which was pretty. It like lit up at night. Another thing that I ate at a gluten-free restaurant. Oh, this is one that my grandmother was obsessed with because it had this like little salad bar area, and she just kept getting up and going and getting more, and getting tea and water and bread. And then like after we got back, I was like, "Where's your favorite place that we ate?" She was like, "Definitely the place with the salad." I thought it was very sweet. Yeah, I did have a nice time. I went with my sister and my grandmother. My grandmother's actually from Japan, but she hadn't been back since she was 2. So my sister and I sort of took her back and showed her around because we had gone previously in November. We were her tour guides. Beautiful things, not all gluten-free.
Oh, I was like,
but they're beautiful. At the Bio Cafe. A bubble tea. I got a lot of matcha things while I was there. I love me some matcha. Honjo. We were staying in Sumida City, specifically like the Honjo area, which is so funny because right before I went on my trip, I started playing Paranormighght, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. So now I've been there.
I know all about it.
It was haunted. Oh, our Airbnb, the floor of the lobby kept flooding.
Haunted.
So, here we go. Now I can be haunted. I bought this delicious loaf of gluten-free bread, which really saved me because every time I got hungry, I just like put jam on it and fried it. Ghost pea! The ghost pea! Oh, also look at these acorns.
Really? Oh my god.
Aren't they so cute? I just saw them while I was walking around.
So cute.
Little guys. From our stroll. Oh, I saw there was this one area that had a bunch of like rainbow flags, and I was like, yay?
You found the gay area.
I guess. And my grandmother was like, it's really nice that they care. But then like there were some rainbow flyers, and I scanned them, and it was just like they were all just talking about COVID. They were all like, this area is COVID free or something, and I was like, is the rainbow indicating that you don't have COVID? I was really confused.
Imagine imagine!
regardless, I love to see the rainbows. Oh, picture of me near the rainbow. And this is a cafe nearby that had rainbow cake.
That cake is COVID-free!
That cake is COVID-free. It was really cute there. We went back a couple of times. I got the rainbow cake! And they had a really good smoothie.
Ooh.
There it is. Free from no.
Free from no COVID.
No COVID.
Gay COVID.
This is an area we went to called Asakusa, which I hadn't gone to last time. First time there. And it was very busy. I didn't know anything about it before we went, but yeah, it was like a shrine area with lots of shops and lots of food. Laura would have loved it. Oh, thank you for saying you loved it. But yeah, it was cool to go there. I liked it. I would definitely go back. Oh, and there was this Don Quixote, which I swear, in Persona 5, can you work at Don Quixote? I feel like you can't.
What is Don Quixote?
It's just like a big shop. It's a big store that sells a million things.
I remember working in the convenience store. Is that it?
I think there were a few places you could work. I just feel like I've heard of Don Quixote before, so I was like, did we work there in Persona 5? Anyways, here's a crepe place I went to nearby that I was obsessed with. It was my favorite place I went while I was there. And the chef, he had studied in France, and so he had brought his crepe knowledge back with him. He made these beautiful crepes that are kind of plated like sushi, and this one had pork belly in it. It was so good. I had apple tea.
Man.
Delicious. And then one day we went to go visit my great aunt who lives there, and this is the area that we were in. I took some pictures. We were just like walking down the side of this highway. It was very busy. There were tons of like used car places nearby.
They all look so silly.
Felt like being in the middle of nowhere. Takoyaki we got. Food free.
Ooh.
Food free fried chicken. The sky tree all lit up near where we were staying. And the 7-Eleven. Oh, and here are my pictures from Disney where I took a lot of pictures. So I went to Disney Sea. In Tokyo Disney, there's Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. Disneyland is like very much the traditional Disney experience, Magic Kingdom. But Disney Sea is so weird. It's like themed after a bunch of oceans and waterfronts. And so I was a little suspicious about it. I was like, I just don't know that I would like that. That's so specific. But everybody says the theming is immaculate and it only exists there. So I was like, okay, I'm going by myself, so I'm gonna go. And this is the only day I spent on my own without my family. It was kind of fun to do something by myself. But what's evil is that there's this area called Fantasy Springs that's opening in like 2 weeks that has like a Tinkerbell area and a Frozen area and all these different areas that I know I would love, but I didn't get to go. I saw the video and cried. Ugh. Anyways, here's me in my hat.
So cute.
This is from the Indiana Jones ride, which you could be a single rider on, and so there was like no line, which was awesome. So I just have some blurry photos of it.
Whoa.
These are Winnie the Pooh Madeleines I got from my sister.
So cute.
And she loved them.
Honey and butter.
Honey and butter.
A very grand thing.
More food things. The food things were all just so cute.
I would have died.
You would have died. There's like an Agrabah from Aladdin themed area that was very pretty.
Oh man.
I know, it's just so big. That's like a carousel. It's a double-decker carousel. Isn't that cool?
Dang.
And here's the like Little Mermaid area. Atlantica. And popcorn is really big there. They have a bunch of like different popcorn stands and they all have different flavors. Really, it was not too busy actually. There were some rides with long lines that were like an hour and a half long, but I think compared to when we went to Universal in Osaka, it was like half as busy. It was way less busy, but it also wasn't a bank holiday there. So that's probably why. But yeah, this popcorn stand, I got matcha white chocolate popcorn. Oh, also, popcorn buckets are really popular. So there was this like Monsters Inc. one that was cool. And they even had these souvenir tongs. I was like, wow, it's just like eating your snack with chopsticks.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Really good.
There's my matcha popcorn. You saw they have a crazy intricate Peter Pan one? That's like Big Ben? That might be in the other park.
Oh man.
That's cool though. Here, the pier. There was also like a fake New York area, which I really liked and thought was super cute. This restaurant was kind of like theater themed, like maybe Broadway.
New York.
New York. But the theming was really good. It was really cute in there. I can't eat very much there because I'm gluten free, so I just like looked at their allergen menu and kept checking for things that didn't list gluten, and fries are one of them, so I just like ate, I think I ate 4 cups of fries that day. And this little yogurt. Their Tower of Terror is super cool. It's really different from the other ones because they're set in like Hollywood, but this one was set in New York. Are you sure this isn't New York? No, it's really impossible to tell.
It would certainly not be this clean.
This Tower of Terror isn't as fun to ride because you have to have like a safety belt on so you don't fly out of the seat and fear for your life quite as much, which I love to fear for my life. But the theming was interesting. It was supposed to be, the theme is like an old explorer guy owns this building and he has all of these artifacts he's gotten from all over the world, and he got this one monkey artifact that's cursed and chaos ensues. And this is the uniform that the people who work at this ride wear, and it's so cute. Laura said that it made her feel really chaotic after she saw this picture.
I fixated on it. I want this outfit so bad.
And that she made a Pinterest board
Yeah.
immediately afterwards. It's so cute. And yeah, there were all these statues around that depict this man. And here's the monkey, the cursed monkey. Another really cute uniform outfit.
The outfits.
They were slaying. And there were dolls that had the uniform. Oh, I was really tempted to get you one. But I was like, but isn't it so cool? No, I was very tempted by them. I was like, oh, we're going to Kyoto tomorrow, so I should really conserve my storage space. But I do, this is another thing I have regrets about.
It will fit me. The doll clothes.
The doll clothes! Yes. And there was this big boat. This boat, the picture doesn't do it justice. It was huge. And this is still on like the American waterfront, which was kind of the biggest area. U.S. steamship. That's really silly. I saw people on it, but I don't know exactly how you could get on it. Or maybe you could just walk onto it, I don't know. I didn't investigate too much. And there was like a Cape Cod themed area.
George!
Which I actually loved. Oh, and here's this like boba type drink I got. And my sister really wanted Cookie On merch, who's one of Duffy's friends. And so I had to get her this, I got her this like little candy carrier. And I also got her like a little plush. Aunt Peg.
She looks a little
Cape
sad.
Cod!
And welcome to Cape Cod. Honestly, it does kind of look like Cape Cod.
It was really pretty. I know it was really silly as an American. But it was, again, very well themed. I liked the vibes. It was cozy, hanging out there. And here was this, like, Aquatica area. Different ride. More of my fries. Oh, it was Donald's birthday, I guess, but it looks like he's 69 or something. Really, I think his birthday is just June 9th. But I was like, 69? Donald? Donald was really big there. There were there was a specific like Donald gift shop, but I didn't see one like that for Goofy or Mickey or anybody, just Donald.
It's all about him.
He's very popular. At night, everything was lit up very beautifully at night.
Ooh.
The moon, gorgeous. I guess Donald is the cutest canonically. This is back in Agrabah. I didn't think I was gonna want to stay there for that long. I was like, oh, I'll hang out at Disney for a few hours. Like, I didn't rush to get there. I got there around 11. They open at 9. But once I was there, I was like, I'm having a lot of fun. I actually never want to leave. So at night, I just like went from one area to the next, running around, trying to see them all again. This is inside of the Atlantica area, which it's always kind of dark in there, but it was pretty. There isn't much to do in there. It's a bunch of like baby rides, but it's just pretty. Oh, and that's the end of Disney. Hi Bard, yes, I'm back.
Hi Bard.
I'm just showing pictures from my trip to Japan. These are from my day in Kyoto. Oh, melon soda is there, and it's so good. Here's a melon soda float I had. It was
melon
delicious.
flavored.
It doesn't taste like melon.
That is Laura. I'm Laura.
Oh yeah, she's here. The Laura. She's here because I got her this Boris shirt and she had to show it off.
I'm here to model this. We're sponsored by Boris. I guess.
We are. She's awake and alive. Some sushi I got. Billy, we went to the same place that we went with you last time. Very delicious once again. Oh, I should have bought this too.
Yes.
This is a really good, there were Sasuke and Itachi Kyoto keychains. I love them. And it was really pretty, the shrines and stuff. I took all these pictures on my camera that I'm streaming with. It did a very good job. I was glad to have it. It was very sunny. It was like 85 this day. It was the hottest day that we were there. So we didn't stay in Kyoto for very long because we were just like immediately hot and exhausted. But it was pretty yummy food that I ate. I think this was like a strawberry tart.
Ooh.
It was
Oh, and there's
delicious.
your
Raspberry.
cookies.
Oh yeah, and there's my box of cookies that I had and showed earlier. Ah, have fun playing Teamfight Tactics. A League of Legends spin-off. I didn't know that Teamfight Tactics was a League of Legends spin-off, actually. I have heard the name. Green pics. Well, this is a ramen shop that I went to on my way back at Tokyo Station. Kind of questionable ramen. There's a tomato in it. The broth, not dark.
Mm-hmm.
Also pineapple.
Huh.
But it was good. Like, I did enjoy it. I added a bunch of spice. I also got dumplings, and they also had tomato in them, and I was like, yo, getting dumplings.
Strange.
But again, they were still good.
Ramen.
Tropical ramen, yeah, that's what I got. Oh, this is a pizza at that same Rainbow Cake Cafe I went to before. My grandmother and I went on the last morning. It was a very good. I think it was gluten-free and vegan, but
Ooh.
I could not tell. And my next airplane food. This one was my favorite meal that I got. It was like potatoes and chicken and onions and salmon, which was cold. I wished that it was warm, but it was still good.
What is this little friend sweet cake?
That was like a little tart. I think it was a little apple tart.
Aww.
Isn't that so nice that it was gluten-free?
Yeah.
It was my favorite meal I've ever eaten, and it was on an airplane. I gave my sister the cheese, though. At first she looked at me like, and then she was like, gobbles up cheese. Loves cheese. Oh, and I got this one. It was fine. I didn't like that as much. I'm not a hot dog person. But anyways, that was everything, everybody. That was my time.
My time at Porsche.
That
My time at
Sandrock? Video game. But I had a nice time. I did a lot of stuff. And it was really nice being there with my grandmother for her first time going. I think she had a really nice time. Though she walked so much that she ended up getting like a bad rash on her legs when we got back. So she went through it. my mom and everyone I'm related to kept being like, be very gentle with your grandmother. Before we went, and we told her that, and she was like, why would they say that about me? I'm not old. She's 75. And, but like, anytime I was like, are you okay? Do you need a rest? Should we go back? She was like, nope, I'm fine. And I feel like we were more sore than she was. She was always just like, yeah, my feet kind of hurt. They're fine. She flexed on us.
She did, literally.
But I asked her if she'd go back, and she was like, heck yeah. I had a really nice time. It was her first time leaving the US.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Which I didn't know either. She's like gone to Puerto Rico. I think that's the furthest she's been, but I think that's still like a US territory, technically. It's very handy that she happened to have her passport and we were able to go on it. Spontaneous trip. But we did that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
How would you rate this trip versus last trip?
I don't know, they're hard to compare. I think I liked the stuff we did on the last trip better because we really planned and did so much, and it was awesome. But it was nice to be with my grandmother, so it was also very good. I guess I wish we could have done some more different stuff. We did a lot of the same stuff because we didn't have time to plan before because we just booked it like 2 weeks ago. And the days we did like the samey things, like went to the same stores, just were not as fun. I felt like I wasn't as engaged. But overall, very good. Both much enjoyed times. Indeed, looking forward to going back. Really, I want to go back to Tokyo Disney so bad. Can you tell? Can you tell that I talked about it a lot? I took a lot of pictures there. I was really hoping that I would like finish with Disney Sea kind of early and I'd be able to go to Disneyland in the afternoon, evening. I was like, I don't care, I'll buy a second ticket. But there was too much to do. I couldn't do both parks in that amount of time. You didn't realize you loved Tangled until you saw it. Yeah, the new Fantasy Springs area has a Tangled ride that looks so beautiful. And a Tangled restaurant. I agree, Billy. I'm desperate to go. It's so sad that I wasn't able to go. You could see it, and people were walking around with like the preview badges. And I was like, man, I would love to just knock you out and steal that. I want to preview the event. It's fine. It's fine. Surprisingly, the tickets, like, I was wondering when I was looking and buying them if it was all sold out once Fantasy Springs opened, but it wasn't. There were tickets for all the days. Didn't even say they were low. Surprising. But yeah. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Our guest star. Boris is the real guest star.
Okay. I'll leave you to Hangzhou.
We're off to Hangzhou now.
I'm going back.
I'll sit with all this stuff. You can sit. Yeah, I just threw everything on our couch. Bard sends you his love.
Thank you for the love.
Oh, thank you for my AirPod. Tangled is awesome. I'm a Tangled enjoyer. I'd watch that movie again right now. We've got Miku with us. She's here. She's always with us. Really, Melon? You only saw it for the first time recently? I'm surprised. Yeah, I very much enjoyed Tangled. I don't know where I want this little guy. I was worried that I would have forgotten everything about streaming while I was away. I always fear that. Always a concern. But no, I still remember. Don't worry. Okay. Oh, I'll change the category that we're in. I should do that. Why is the donut yellow now? What donut? All right, hold please. You can continue to enjoy this music. On the floor?
He's dead?
donut? It's always been yellow. That's really silly that you called it that. The kitty donut. You gaslit yourself. You did. Keep clicking things because I've got this on this screen here. Moving and shifting. We're listening to some cozy campfire music right now. I hope you feel cozy. I sure do. It was nice to be out of town, but I'm glad to be home. I'd say the last couple of days I was like, I'm excited to get back to all of my things and stuff. To my wife and my streaming and my cat. Okay, so let's see. Cozy music and a horror game. Such cozy vibes. But yeah, did you guys have a good week while I was away? It felt like it was a long time to me. I feel like in Twitch time, being away for a week is like a month. It's a million years. Paranormighต์. Okay. I have updated my stream information. That Twitch time dilation. Truly. It's real. Okay. So last time, we played through essentially the intro of this game. Which is a character. You thought I was gone for 2 weeks, Melon? Yeah, it was only a week. Literally. It was like exactly 7 days. But it has been like a week and a half, I think, since my last stream. So that could be contributing to that feeling. But yeah, last time we played as this guy, Shogo, who was just some guy, truly, in his early 20s. And he forgot his memories and past. And he was friends with this girl who had gotten him into some cult stuff. And she died, which was concerning. And we were like, we got this cursed object, and we were like, oh my god, what do we do with this? And we found out that we could like try and resurrect her if we killed other people with it, and that specifically other people who were in the same situation with us, as us, who were trying to kill other people to resurrect other people. They were worth more points, essentially. So we played through his path where he went on a murderous rampage and tried to kill a bunch of people, and then he ended up maybe dying in the end. It was like a little bit unclear, but his path ended. And now we have to switch to one of these other people who we encountered during his journey. He truly became just some guy at the end. Yeah, he really was just the tutorial. That was wild. I can't remember if this is where I liked having myself on my screen last time, up here in the top right, but I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll check where I put myself, because I feel like I had to mess around a few times to find something I liked. Oh, I did. I think I did like this spot. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, they really just made him completely irrelevant, but it's fine, I guess. Okay. So I figured we would just go in order, and we would play as this woman next. She was interesting. When we encountered her, we found out that she had lost a child, and that she wanted to kill us to try and resurrect her kid. Apparently her kid had so much promise, and she was pretty emo. This is another guy, this guy in this preview right here, that we encountered during our time. Not dreams. When the son of, how do we say her name? Harue Shigima was kidnapped, a botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. Her son was kidnapped and then accidentally murdered? A year later, she hired a private investigator, that's this guy, to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective at her home, something strange suddenly appeared. May those who mock the fires something perish in flame. Kill them. Okay, so this is when she gets her curse power. You acquire the power of the curse stone, the haunting clappers. You can use it to kill those with fire or a fire-starting device on their person. Press the use curse button to set your target alight. So we can set people on fire if they have a fire object. I'm gonna read this, but not right now because this sounds crazy. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. When you love something, set it on fire. Can you hear it, curse bearer? You, who so strongly desires the right, kill them. Hi, Gossip Girly. Are you at the airport? Thank you for claiming a daily fishbone. We're playing a scary game. Richter says, "Back with me, ma'am?" Your flight is delayed, oh my god! That's awful. How delayed is it? Can't say I understand what just happened. Richter looks good. But it certainly seems to have put you in a good mood. This might be the first time I've ever seen you really smile. It's the murder. Sweet dreams. This is us. Housewife. It's not too scary, it's a visual novel, so it's a little creepy. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, like an hour and a half? That's awful. I'm sorry to hear it. So we are Harue Shigima. So she has this thing called a curse echo, which allows her to kill people who are holding or have on their person a fire item. You wish you could go to the lounge. I would be interested in going to a lounge. My past couple of flights both got delayed when I was on the plane, and that is just the worst. It's always like, could you not have delayed it before I got on this plane? Harue is a housewife who resides in a manor near Shumoku Bridge. Yes. Her 11-year-old son, Shuichi, was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. The death was the result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case. A mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. The incident was covered up, and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading the aggrieved Harue to call on the services of private investigator Richter Kai to uncover the truth. The Shigima family came from a line of samurai who built their residence in Honjo during the Edo period. The Gossip Girlie, where I was just staying in Japan, was literally where this game is set. Isn't that funny? I didn't even know that when I, started playing this game / booked the place I stayed. I still think it's wild. They assumed important positions. in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, thereby protecting their family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigima line work as police bureaucrats and senior officers. Harue's father sits in the upper echelons of the National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigima clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official, so she's from a family of cops. However, as her family prioritizes work above all else, it wasn't long before Harue's marriage grew cold. Though she wants for nothing, she is isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Harue a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Harue spent many days in a deep depression, breaking into sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away. She took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Harue's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home. With Harue left to live in the large, empty mansion alone, as a housekeeper who's been with the family for a long time comes to take in all of the housework, Harue has nothing but time on her hands. So it makes sense she's bored, she's got time on her hands, she's hired a private investigator. She's depressed. Not dreams. Sounds like something I might want to hear about. Are we gonna tell him? About our curse object? Same. My heart's still racing. This is it, my chance, at long last. Let me bring you up to speed. You were in the middle of a chat when you suddenly started spacing out. And the whole time, you were grinning to yourself like you just won the lottery. Care to tell me what that was all about? Well, where to start? Interesting, very interesting. So the haunting Clappers' curse echo appeared out of nowhere. Told you how to perform the rite of resurrection, and gave you the curse you'll need to do it. Have I got that right? That's right. So it's all real. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe. But I guess I have to now. This is our little curse item. I saw that curse stone appear in your hand myself. Looked like it popped clean out of thin air. With evidence that clear, there's no denying that there's some supernatural force at work. Richter, a private investigator I hired. A friend told me about him. He said he's not very well known, but he's good at what he does. When I first visited his office in Ota City and saw how he dressed, I could hardly believe he was a detective. But after talking to him for a while, I changed my mind. He says some strange things at times, but he seems like the reliable sort. I think he's a nice dude. I agree. Okay, our files have updated. Do we have any more to say to you? I don't think you quite understand. Necklace, you like his necklace? He's a fashionable guy. This isn't about evidence, and it isn't about belief. It's more than that. I know it's real. The moment the curse appeared, I knew everything before it even said a word. It was already there in my head, as clear as day. Very fashion. Yes, very fashion fellow. You just knew, huh? It was etched onto my soul, along with the curse echo's resentful memories. So I can feel it, what it was like. Burning, dying like they did hundreds of years ago. Wreathed in flame, writhing in pain as my flesh blackens and my blood boils. I can feel it. All the agony, all the rage. It fills me with bloodlust. His face right now is probably... I think I need to kill someone. Anyone will do, just as long as they're carrying fire. Ooh, I think our guy also smokes. I see. That could be a problem. You think so? From what I know of you, I was sure you'd see it as an opportunity. The stronger the desire to resurrect someone, the stronger the urge to kill. That's how it seems to me, anyway. Good grief. Talk about a spanner in the works. Say we take stock for a moment. Remind ourselves where we've come from and where we're going. It's like, let's ground ourselves right now. That might be a good idea. Maybe. Let's check our files. So we're at the Azure Heron Agency, Victor Kai's private investigation firm in Kamata, Ota City. Ota City is the other area we were actually thinking of staying. It's not close to Sumida City where this is set. It's like kind of below Tokyo and below the airport. But it felt pretty far away. Anyways, I guess we're there. Originally, Kai thought to give it a simple name like Kai's Detective Agency, but upon hearing that people are more likely to pick names listed at the front of the phone book alphabetically, he decided to pick a name starting with an A. Thus, the Azure Heron Agency was established. Kinda smart. However, it is questionable whether the heron, a bird of somewhat ominous significance, is an effective symbol for attracting customers. That's fair. Even his own assistant has referred to the name as confusing at best. After all, rather than an azure heron, Richter keeps a white parrot as a pet, and dresses not in blue, but mostly in white. If there is a symbolic connection to be made here, it has surely been lost on all but Richter himself. Phone book. Yeah, this game is clearly set a little before our time. They even made a point of it at the beginning, like showing us all of this on an old TV. A private investigator, also known as a private eye, is a detective who operates their own agency. Although there are no formal qualifications necessary to become a private investigator, many are retired police agents or detectives due to the similarities between the work involved. At a glance, private investigation firms and inquiry offices might look similar, but they carry out different types of investigations. Inquiry offices specialize in conducting credit checks on businesses, while private investigators are generally involved in tailing persons of interest and gaining information surreptitiously. Interesting. Okay. Persons of interest. Ya boy. Okay. So we know this information. Taking on a request from Haruhi Shigima to investigate an unsolved kidnapping and murder of her son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the rite of resurrection. Occult craze indeed. Once a police officer, Richter was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all of those in need, and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases, and has put his office in dire financial straits. Oh no! How he is still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Richter studied alongside Detective Jun Ariel, who I think I've also met this character at the police academy. Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerisms, Richter excels at covert investigations and tailing his targets. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Richter's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet. Oh, Ernestine, which he keeps in his office. He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers. He's a bird fan, bird enjoyer. A popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around town for them. He's just like you, Bo! And he's stylish. You guys are twins. Out and about, Richter typically leaves the office, and more importantly, his bird, in the care of Amamori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Richter after being involved in a previous case. Oh, I feel like that name could be familiar too. Ah, this guy. So he went to school with this other cop that we met. Okay. Do we have more to say to you? about the investigation. That's what you hired me for, ma'am. To look into your son's kidnapping last year. Dane is crying because he does love birds, but in a murderous way. He loves them controversially. To uncover the truth behind the abduction and murder of Shuichi Shigima, her son. Oh yes, I remember. They never did find the one who did it. That's what I'm here about today, in fact. Kind of you let me drop by so late. Oh, kind of you to let me drop by so late, by the way. I see, so we're at her place. We're not at his investigation place, like I was thinking, which makes sense. I was surprised that we would leave Honjo. I'm turning over every last stone, and I've come up with a grand total of 1 lead. So you said. As far as the police are concerned, it's a cold case, but I've managed to make some headway. Now remember, you were just about to tell me. The Shigima kidnapping overview. A kidnapping and murder case that took place in Honjo, Sumida, around 1 year ago. Harue Shigima's son, Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school, with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigima family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was, in fact, the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. The kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and the large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. This made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Harue reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible. But her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal called to give him an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed, and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi's death could be largely ascribed to the police's incompetence, but this was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. Simple extortion. Okay, so a police force hater, potentially. Oh, and this is her son! He's cute! What a little sweetie! The only son of Harue Shigima. He was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. We know this. He was conscientious, brave, and was determined to protect his mother amid his father's frequent absences. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displaying diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age, likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, so I guess we're somewhere in the 70s, he spent his day, I guess that makes sense from Richter's outfit, huh? He spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, taking English lessons, and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs over his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them all to go on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. So what a sweet desire. He just wanted to get stickers with his friends. A fax machine. We don't really know how it works. Most houses don't have them. Rarely find a use for it. With the rotary phone as well. The telephone. This mansion has a private line. Hanging scroll. An old hanging scroll. I don't know who painted it. It's been hanging here since before I was born. We can look around the room for a little. Flower arrangement. Arrangement of flowers. We bring in someone to do it. I don't even know what the flowers are called. Stereo. A stereo unit with separate speakers designed for home use. My husband insisted on buying one, even though he isn't one to listen to music often. He just likes to look fancy. This is a sticker. Well, I'll be damned. Is that what I think it is? Goodness, you made me jump. It's just a silly little sticker my son got from somewhere or other. We put it up just before... Well, you know what happened. I still can't bring myself to take it down. Let me take a closer look. I knew it! It's Head Hencho. From way back in set 1. Oh, this is one of the bird stickers? This is a real collector's item. Oh, it's a chicken! Excuse me? Don't tell me you've never heard of the mockingbirds. The what? They're the hottest new craze. Cute little birds dressed up like rough and tumble delinquents. That is so specific. I've never heard of them, but this certainly seems to matter to you. The best part is, nobody knows who made them. They just started showing up around town, and soon enough, they'd won everybody's hearts. The story goes that they're made by some anonymous artist who covertly leaves them behind in specific locations. No one knows when or where they'll show up next. They're basically an urban legend of sorts. To think one would turn up here of all places. This is a good sign, I'm sure of it. I feel like it's a bad sign. Oh, well, that's nice. Mockingbird number 1. Oh my, it's little glasses. It's pretty cute. Whoa, there's a bunch. These popular bird mascot stickers seem to pop up everywhere. No one knows who the legendary artist is behind these quirky birds, but they quickly became popular for their surreal yet oddly cute designs. Be in the right place at the right time in Honjo, and you might just be able to find all 20 of them scattered around. Yeah, it definitely seems suspicious. I don't know why you would think it's a good sign. What does that say about him? Ooh, legend has it collecting them all will bring good luck. Interesting. Oh yeah, no remote control. My dad always talks about the time when TVs didn't have remote controls and they had to get up and turn the knobs. He's always like, you kids are so lucky you have remote controls. We didn't have that back in my day. TV quickly fell into disuse. Not a big tech family. Swinging of the pendulum echoes through the room. Feels livelier than usual with Richter here. Usually it's just me. About the investigation. You know, we still need to figure out exactly what you want me to do. Yes, extremely, Dad. Your dad's always like, I didn't have a cell phone till I was 30. Dads, they love to bring up their youth. And the changing of technology. Tell you what. Why don't I tell you what I found, and then we can make a decision. That's right, he hasn't talked about his one lead yet. Ah, Bard, you had a dad once to... You still do, but you don't live near him. Okay. Does he also remark about tech? I don't live near my dad either. But I did see him somewhat recently. Okay, so what did you find? Okay, I guess I need to talk about one of the other ones. About the kidnapping? Suppose there's not much point going over the kidnapping itself. No, I'm very familiar. Then I'll leave that for the files to cover, and just confirm a few things about the case. The police traced the culprit's calls back to, let's see here. Northern Oyoko River, here in Sumida City. It's quite a wide area. That's right. In the end, they never managed to nail down exactly where the calls were coming from, but it was almost certainly the same location that Shuichi was being held captive. Since Shuichi's voice could be heard during the killer's calls. Northern Oyoko River is quite a distance from Shuichi's normal school commute. Factoring in that he was seen at school, but went missing before he arrived at his house, it's likely that he was abducted by car or on his route home. Maybe, but... Exactly. Shuichi was a clever boy. He never would have gotten into the car with a stranger. That's right. I was very firm about that. I know he understood too. I even saw him warning the other children. It's possible they forced him into the car. The only issue there is there weren't any witnesses to the kidnapping. You can't bundle someone into a car with that many students around and not be noticed. But nobody came forward to say they saw anything suspicious. So, did they target him at some other time or somewhere away from his usual route? Both of those seem a little far-fetched. Which raises the question, how did the kidnapper pull it off? The police never managed to find an answer. In the end, they decided that the kidnapper must have just gotten lucky. Well, why not turn the problem on its head? The right of resurrection, huh? I read about that in an occult magazine the other day. Apparently some old book showed up recently with all the gory details. That's what we heard about from our friend in the first section of this. Oh, thank you for the follow. We're playing Paranormighty, The Seven Mysteries of Honjo. We're on the second case now. You like the follow gifts? Thank you, Melon. Glad you like them. I got it on Etsy. They say that the right can be found somewhere in Honjo. I remember the first time you told me about that. It felt like my prayers had been heard. Like I had hope, real hope for the first time. Ever since that awful day, I've wondered. What if I hadn't sent him back to school? What if I'd just paid the ransom? Not a day goes by where I don't think that if I'd done something differently, Shuichi would still be alive. You can't blame yourself, ma'am. It was the culprit's fault, not yours. Though I know that it won't help any. Grief is funny like that. I'm guessing that's why you're after the right? I guess I didn't need to ask. It's written all over your face. I can tell how much he meant to you. But, and this is a big but, if this right is the real deal, using it will mean killing someone and stealing their soul. Casual. Is that a problem? If it comes to that, I'm afraid I'll have to stop you. Oh, that's a shame. A shame, huh? That's all? I'd thought, if I'm going to be competing with other curse bearers, then your detective skills might come useful. You realize you're talking about ending someone's life, right? Don't you see any issue with that? Seems like a no. I think any parent in my position would happily kill for a chance like this. That's so, is it? Dear, oh dear. What have I gotten myself into? Do you think he's gonna help us? He shouldn't. Okay, we're circling back, seeing if he's got more to say about these things. The kidnapper managed to convince Shuichi to get into their car, but how? The only thing that makes sense to me is if they were somebody that he would have a reason to trust. That makes sense. A teacher, perhaps, or a relative. Somebody else that he knew. But of all the adults Shuichi knew, they all had alibis. The police checked them all thoroughly. They did, huh? No one throws numbers at a problem like the cops. But what if it wasn't someone he knew, or rather, what if the culprit disguised themselves as a police officer? That would explain why he didn't find them suspicious. The Shigima family has close ties with the police after all. He would have had a reason to trust them. You might be right. That is pretty clever. But surely that couldn't have. Well, there's a problem with the theory. You'd be surprised how much police officers stand out. That's sort of the point, after all. They're meant to be a visible deterrent against crime. You have more to say about that? But here's another interesting little bit of trivia I happen to know. When you ask people to imagine someone suspicious, nobody pictures women or children. Even kids who've been warned about stranger danger often subconsciously expect that danger to look like an adult man. Besides, Shuichi was the sort of boy who wanted to be a police officer when he grew up. He must have had a very strong sense of right and wrong. That's right. Wait, surely you can't mean... Now you're getting it. If, say, a young woman approached Shuichi, asking for help, what would he have done? If someone like that said they were lost and asked him for directions, would he have gotten into a car? He might have... Adult men are dangerous for sure. I know. Huh? This guy's pretty clever. He's thinking of all these things that I would not have thought of. So it was likely a woman. My husband always told him that a man had a duty to watch out for women and children. You could certainly argue that kind of attitude is outdated nowadays. But if Shuichi believed it, then we might have something here. Then you think the culprit was a young woman? But it was a man's voice on the phone. I mean, she could have had an accomplice. Yep, she might have been an accomplice. Or maybe she didn't even realize she was being used. If anything, that would explain why she hasn't come forward. She herself might not realize she had anything to do with the case. Interesting. Keep talking, Richter. You seem like you know a lot of stuff. So the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? See, what I said about people's biases, that goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe, if I started asking new questions, I might get some new answers. He has a lot of exposition to drop, it's true. He's keeping me on my toes. So I spent my day asking around Shuichi's school route, seeing if anyone had seen something. And one man thought he had. I love the little sound effect. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say that for sure yet. It turned out he wanted something from me, so he asked if we could talk in private. That's pretty suspicious. What would he have wanted from you? Several hours earlier. Alright, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me, what was your name again? Jonoichi. Got it. Well, Jonoichi, I'm all ears. He's got great hair. Just so we're on the same page. You're a private detective investigating Shuichi Shigima's kidnapping. Do I have that right? Of course. What else do I look like? How should I know what a private detective looks like? Oh, forget it. Look, I'll tell you straight. My life is in danger. I need your help. You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Let me ask you straight. Who's trying to kill you? A student called Michio Shiraishi. Interesting. A schoolgirl, eh? Sounds like you've been naughty. Oh. Terrible implication. It's nothing like that. That girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio, I saw her He saw her kidnap Shuichi. Come again? I saw her talk to him on the street and lead him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. She murdered him, I'm sure of it. Or at least she's got something to do with it. The hair game here is fierce.
Truly, they are both surfing and slaying. And the glasses game. I guess he doesn't have glasses, Richter, but the other guy does. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get to me. If that's true, you've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see, if you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't. She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word. Threatened by a student, my god. You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life. So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now that you've spilled the beans? Yes, that's it, exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get to me. Arrest her, I'm telling you, she's a demon. I think that this girl that he's referring to might be the third protagonist we play as. Well, you seem to believe what you're saying. But it just doesn't add up. A high schooler, yeah, her. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. It's true. Her house, it's... forget it. Why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough. I'll find someone else to help me. Hey. Interesting. I feel like it wasn't her, though, you know? Or maybe it was because she's a curse bearer. Woof, Billy, you just finished with work today? My god. 8:35. Who are these handsome men? Richter, we saw it last time we played this. Oh, Billy, I forgot. You missed a lot of the last time we played Paranormighty. Oh, your manager is out, so you're suffering? That's so awful. Late work should be illegal. On a Wednesday? Illegal. I'm glad you're free now. That's true, you do get overtime pay. I am happy for you in that regard. So what's happening right now is... I'll move forward so you can see their faces. I can hardly believe it. So this guy, Richter, he's a private investigator, and he is looking into this woman, her child's kidnapping and murder. So her kid was kidnapped and held hostage for ransom, and then she comes from a family of police officers, and so the police were like negotiating for her son to be returned, and they kind of like, they were a little too harsh on the kidnappers, I guess, and then the kidnappers ended up just killing her son. So yes, that's the sitch. So she's very sad, and she has just been given this curse item that will let her kill anyone who has the ability to light a fire on them. So like if they're holding a lighter, she could murder them. Just on site, pretty much. And she wants to do that because if she murders enough people to get like 100 soul points, then she can resurrect her son. And she wants to resurrect him real bad. She's really sad that he's dead. She's like from a rich family. She lives by herself. She and her husband have a bad relationship. She just has this one son, Shuichi. So she's down to do some murdering to get her kid back. But Richter here, the private investigator, he's not into that. You can't murder 100 people to get one back. That's pretty much it. But if you murder a different person who also has this like curse item, so who's kind of doing the same thing you are, you get extra points. So you could get like 20 to 40 points from a curse bearer. So we especially want to find them. Anyways, so this is the second character we're playing as. The first one was like the tutorial. He was like a young 20s guy. And now we're playing as her second. We don't really know why. Like, we don't really know what we are here to experience. Upset about murder, so become murderer logic. Anyways, at the time I thought his mention of curses was just crazy talk. But I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then, if we can just find that girl... Curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, then there's a good chance she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kohei Jonoichi. He's a teacher at Komagara High School, here in Sumida. A teacher? Then this schoolgirl is one of his students? I think that's very likely. Okay, so that's a big lead. We've gotten the lead that we think a schoolgirl was part of it. Might have been an accomplice or the killer. We are a very pretty woman, Billy. We're a very pretty widow. A very sad, bitter, pretty widow. I love water. That makes us prettier because we're evil. Bitter queen. Okay, any more to say? At last, we've got a lead. Hopefully it'll be the breakthrough we're looking for. About the rite of resurrection. Today, Laura got a giant almond croissant. I'm gonna really show it off.
Okay.
Don't worry, I won't drop it. Look at it compared to the size of my hand. It's like the same size. It's bigger.
That's not even all of it because I had to eat.
Yeah, she already ate some.
Not even half of it, really.
When she texted me about it, she was like, I got a giant almond. And I was like, what? And then she was like, oh, croissant. Sorry. It's like, giant almond. I would love to see a giant almond, though. Anyways, if it makes you uncomfortable, then you won't have to get any blood on your hands yourself. I don't need you to kill the other curse bearers. I only need you to find them. I also told Laura it would take her a week to eat it. And she was like, good. I won't be party to murder, ma'am. Not even for a client. Let's offer to pay him. How much can I give you to change your mind? We're rich. Sorry, ma'am, but not everybody has a price. I've got my policies, and I stick to them. I see. I didn't realize you were so stubborn. Let me say, though, it's not like I don't get what you're going through. As long as you're not killing anyone with your own hands, maybe I can help you out. What do you have in mind? Well, how about stealing someone else's curse stone after they filled it with soul dregs? If that was all you were after, then I could lend you my services guilt-free. I still can't believe it was called Almond Croissant XXL. That's so funny. If the other curse bearers want to kill each other, that's their business. I'm not trying to be a hero here. I guess there's no guarantee a stolen curse stone will work, but we can worry about that later. Well, then I suppose we have a deal. Although, what if I stole a curse stone using my curse? Would you disapprove? That would void our contract, ma'am. Just warning you now. My. So, in the prologue, the intro, the character that we were playing as, we ran into this woman. And she did try to kill us and steal our soul dregs. We were at like 99% at that point. She wanted to take them. It was valid of her, you know, it would have been a good deal for her, but we ended up killing her instead. So I guess this is an AU, alternate timeline. Okay. Can't say that yet. About my curse. Before we go any further, why don't you tell me about that curse of yours? The Haunting Clappers, was it? That's one of the 7 mysteries of Honjo, if I remember correctly. That's right. The original story did happen somewhere near here, I think. I'm sure I remember hearing that. In any case, my memory would be on all the curse bearers being somewhere. Oh, my money. My money would be on all the curse bearers being somewhere in Honjo. Our first move should be to narrow them down. Some of them are bound to try and come for you first. We'll need to be ready. The curses make their bearers more willing to kill, so an attack could come from anywhere. That sounds sensible. And if I remember correctly, your haunting clappers can set people on fire, but only if they have a naked flame or a lighter on their person. Is that right? That's right. In olden times, wooden clappers were used to warn people of fire. I'm guessing it punishes those who don't heed the warning. Seems like a good curse to have. It's simple and straightforward enough to use. Although it's hard to say how it stacks up without knowing what else is on the table. You really think it's that good? The target can't do much to throw it off, and it has a nice long activation window. It's big that it works on lighters, too. Just slip one into your target's pocket. Haunting clappers is what I call my hands. Catch these haunting clappers. It just makes me think of clapping like this. Like clapping some wooden shoes together, yeah. Clogs. Some clogs. I did walk through a festival happening in Asakusa on my last morning, and people had the wooden clappers. I heard them. They were going. They were cursed. Oh my god, I got cursed by the haunted clappers. And say that that condition were already fulfilled before they even knew you're there. They wouldn't even know what hit them. Maybe I won't have to actually use it. I could just tell someone I could, and they'd have to do what I said. Threats could work, although without any proof it'll come down to how convincing you can be. If only you could use the curse, then back out at the last second. At the last second? What an interesting idea. I have a lighter right here. We could try it now. That's an interesting proposition. But maybe not. I'm not quite crazy enough to make myself a guinea pig. That's good, Richter. I like you too much to do that to you. Oh, I see. You're an odd one, ma'am. If you don't mind me saying, I don't think it's just the curse. Yikes, indeed. You flatterer. Is it flattering to be called an odd one? I don't know. As for what we do next, first of all, I think you should stay indoors. Try not to do anything spontaneous or outside of your normal routine. Her eye bags make her more beautiful. I agree. Right then. Have you decided what you want me working on? Help me with the right or investigate the... I'd rather have him investigate the kidnapping. Finally. Finally I have a lead. I need to know what happened to my son. Your wish is my command, ma'am. I'll focus all my efforts on looking into the kidnapping. Although, something just occurred to me. You can't investigate the matter at night, can you? At least until the sun rises. Could you search for the other curse bearers? Alright, I see how it is. Well, I'd be happy to help. Odds are good that the other curse bearers are also working by night. Anyone they kill under the cover of darkness won't be discovered until sunrise. She's got that tired and clean French girl makeup look. True, put her in a French bob. I can see it. I bet they'll be trying to do as much as they can before morning comes. So, it's settled then. I'll look into the other curse bearers by night. Give her a croissant! An XXL almond croissant! Once the city wakes up, I can actually start asking questions. In France, croissants are XS, true. I'll investigate the kidnapping as well. I'll even try and find Miss Shiraishi as part of the bargain. That's the schoolgirl who is maybe involved. Thank you. That's more than enough. Anything else to say? Now then. I should get to work. There's only so much time before sunrise. I'll call you if I find out anything new. You stay here and keep a lookout. All right. There's no telling what kinds of curses you might find out there on the streets tonight. Don't go outside if you can help it. And try to be ready for anything. I will. Well, if that's all, I should be going. See you later. Nice. So now every time we've done a scene, we'll come out here to this menu. Oh no, she isn't the schoolgirl. So it's someone else. A different one.
There's another schoolgirl?
I thought it was just this one.
There's a schoolgirl who died.
Oh. Who we killed? I thought it was this one. Hard to say. Anyways, I am gonna take a quick break and drink a bunch of water because I've talked so much. So I will be right back. Tate may have pooped on the ground. Sorry, I was gone a little longer. Laura's wiping it up now. I went to go pee and I found a little nugget. We didn't even hear it happen. We had no idea. I wonder if it's when I was talking about my trip and Laura and I were both distracted. He's laying right behind me. There he is. He's mad I left. That is so why. A nugget himself. That is what he is. But yeah, I'm surprised he's just been like laying and being normal. So, who would have known? Not high. Oh, I feel like maybe my AirPods disconnected. I'm like, I can't hear the game. They did. That's a big poo on the floor. That's him right behind me. That there gray thing. Where are you, AirPods? You've disappeared from the world. I'll disconnect and reconnect. My sound mixer's being all weird now. Please hold. That is him. He sleep. You use your haunting clappers to applaud, Laura. I agree. I also applaud Laura. Thank you, Laura. Applauding deserved. I'm still surprised that he did that. It's been a while. Honestly, usually his tummy gets upset around when one of us goes out of town or we both go out of town, so like the timing does make sense. Who's my favorite character so far in this game? I feel like it's Richter. I like him. He's cool. I hope he survives. I don't want him dead. I want him living. I like the lady that we are, but she's a little creepy. Like, I just don't trust her. But I do like that about her. But it's hard for her to be my favorite. Well, it seems my audio thing is just never gonna work again today. I wonder what's wrong with it. Let me see if I can make just my usual my computer audio work for me. Hi, Bard. You've caught me trying to fix an audio problem. How are you doing? It's a good moment for me to chit and chat. Did you have fun playing that video game that you were playing? You lost. Are the matches long? 3 times. Okay, so they're not that long. Man, tough night. Relatable. What kind of game is it? Like, what's the gameplay like? Like I've said, I've heard the name, but I'm just not very familiar with it. TFT is an auto battler. I like me an auto battle. Oh, auto chess was the original. I heard a lot about auto chess back in its early days. I remember hearing that people really liked it. I don't know that I've ever played an auto battler, but I would try them. I think if I just like end all of these tasks in Task Manager, then I can get it to work. Perhaps. Bard, I would love to know what your favorite game is. If we haven't talked about it before. Oh, Bard, thank you for the bits. Appreciate it. Motivating me while I fiddle around with audio. I use this thing called SteelSeries GG, and usually it works pretty well, but sometimes it likes to be glitchy. Yeah, your favorite game, I'm curious what it would be. Is terrible? No, I'd still like to know. I don't judge people for having bad taste. We play League, Slay the Spire, Stardew, and Baldur's Gate 3. I have never played League. You like it? People tell me not to get into it, but as a Jinx obsessor, it's hard not to be interested. I played a little of Slay the Spire. I think card games are fun. It's 90% of what you do in your free time. Oh my gosh. Very much League enjoyer. You can cannot recommend it. Man, I feel like that's always the situation. People are like, yes, I play that game so much. Please do not ever play it. It's very unique in that way, I will say. properties.
You're back.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh! Man, I had already checked that too.
Dang.
But I just, you know.
Okay.
I'm a tech genius. What can I say? We did it together with the power of teamwork.
Yeah.
Thank you for the motivation. I appreciated your commentary, Bard. Truly. Thanks. It happens. It happens. Tech loves to be silly. Yes, Laura was here to also be my hype man. To watch over me. I blame Tate's poop.
Yeah.
I think that's super fair. Anyways. Ready to play another chapter of this game? A nice thought. Despite having obtained the curse of the Haunting Clappers, Arue Shigima is determined to use the Rite of Resurrection by stealing the remaining curse stones. She instructs her private investigator Richter to find the other curse bearers. He hacked the stream with his poop. It's true. Okay, it's 1 a.m. Cycle of poop. Poop is suffering. Back in this room. Anyways, Bard, it's interesting to hear what your favorite games are. Thank you for sharing. It's been almost an hour since Richter left. He promised he'd call me if anything happened. But he hasn't. All I can do is wait. And wait. We've looked at some of this. We haven't looked at this newspaper. What's this? A newspaper? You wish it was only 1 a.m.? What time is it for you? Must have fallen off the chair. Read it. I only leave them here for the guests. I hardly ever read them myself. 2:15. Okay, so it's not too far after 1. But it's getting late. You're certainly the night owl, Bard. I don't think I've taken the time to go over one in years, in fact. Well, it's not like I have anything better to do. Wow, we can really just read the newspaper. Let's look at society. Looks like the city's biggest problem right now is pollution. Makes sense. Remember how the air and water used to be even more polluted? The river was covered in scum from all the sewage and industrial waste, and it stank so badly it would make my eyes water. Eventually, people started getting sick and couldn't be ignored anymore. Fortunately, it's gotten better since then. Although the air around the industrial district is still filthy with gas and smog. That's unfortunate. What else? The economy. Ooh, you're off work tomorrow through a series of circumstances. Well, I'm happy for you being off work. Love a day off. It's almost like I wanted to be here. I have Monday off, and I'm very much looking forward to it. All sorts of articles about the current state of the economy. Now that the post-war boom has passed its peak, we're moving into the era of large corporations. Oh, thank you for the love, Bard. I love to see them hearts a-bouncin'. It's about 220 to 230 yen to the dollar. Manufacturing is on the rise and exports are healthy. The dollar's down from its height and people are saying it could fall further. I do not stream yet. It's always yet. Well, streaming is fun and everyone should try it. There's no denying how much the standard of living has improved in the past few years. It's common to own a car and television now, and supermarkets are getting better stocked than ever. The times are changing here in the 1970s. It's a culture. Now that everyone has more spending money to go around, people are coming up with all kinds of new diversions. Seemed like only yesterday that people were flocking to the arcades to shoot aliens. But now we have these enormous theme parks and gaming machines that plug straight into our televisions. Everyone's talking about superhero series, foreign films, and movies based on the latest bestseller. Ooh, you're working on it? I spent a year working on my setup. I think it was like last March or April. that I had decided to do that. ASMR no cam streams sound sexy. Oh god. No ASMR here, please. The sounds are too much for me. Back in my day, fusion rock and folk music were all the rage. But now it's all about city pop and idols. I find it hard to care about that sort of thing anymore. Education? That could be related to our son. You already feel him? ASMR mention. Melon goes crazy. Everyone attends high school now, even girls. Universal education policy, they call it. Just the country's gotten rich enough that every child can go to school. Education is the backbone of modern society. If you want to work for a good company, you have to get into a good university. With more people in the running than ever, the competition to get into those universities has gotten fierce, though. The new generation is rebelling. Schoolyard violence and delinquency are on the rise. Haunted Clappers ASMR stream! Listen, I mean, I would listen to a wooden clapper ASMR stream. Okay, that's different. No, Melon! Melon! SMH! She was reminded of her son. Look, it was checked off. That means there's more to read in all of these? I don't really watch much television. Feels as if all the information in the world gets passed through that little black box. But father stopped them from reporting on the kidnapping back when it happened. I was glad about that. Less fuss. I mean, isn't that kind of bad? Wouldn't it be nice if more people had heard about it? Now the comedy boom is over. All the comedians are flocking to other genres. The occult seems really popular at the moment. Look at all these paranormal specials. Oh, okay, that's all there. I hear the new big thing is some mascot line of delinquent birds. Ah, yes, mockingbirds, it's called. Was that what Richter was talking about? Trends seem to have such short shelf lives now. With how quickly times are changing, I think I'm just too old to keep up anymore. It's young people who are leading the way. With their modern worldviews, my generation will only fall further behind. Not very interested in the news of today. Although with everyone flocking to the city, land prices are skyrocketing. Nowadays, most people can only dream of home ownership. And wow, this was in the 70s? It's even worse now, girl! The city center is going to be nothing but apartments before long. Not exactly a businesswoman, so this all feels like another world to me. There's one thing Hanjo never wants for, it's horrific crimes. They found a police officer dead in a local park just the other day. Wonder if that's related. A lot of my family are in the police. I hope it wasn't anyone I knew. I don't read the news anymore. Not since last year. Brings back too many bad memories. We done with this here newspaper? Oh, more society? Suicide at local high school? Oh, I remember that. A high school girl jumped off a roof about a week ago. She was bullied, I think. Or maybe it was something about exam pressure? What? But, no, this can't be right. Her name. Michio Shiraishi from Komogata High School? It can't be. I think she's the one who we believe to be involved in the kidnapping of our son. So that's very concerning. Yeah, the music just got creepy. Maybe we need to do some thinking. Michio, the same girl who witnessed my son's kidnapping, committed suicide last week? But that means Mr. Jonoichi was terrified of someone who already died? Is that what he meant by a curse? I can't work this out on my own. Maybe Richter will know. We have a phone. Why won't he call? Well, I haven't left it off the hook, have I? Waiting for Richter to contact me, but he hasn't. I made sure the receiver is on the hook. It'll ring as soon as he calls. New theory, the schoolgirl that we can play as is trying to save this schoolgirl suspect. That would be very interesting. That must be him. Answer. As if I would do nothing. Hello, Shigima residence. Is it Ricky? 2 a.m. Guess it's good that we read the paper. Komogata Bridge. Here we are. Richter called me out to meet him, and we came here to Komogata Bridge. Richter, there's something I need to tell you. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. What? You go first. Oh, I'll go first. I'll go first. There's something I need to tell you. What's up? Well, that girl, Michio. The one who was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping? That's her. Well, she's dead. She's what? The student who committed suicide last week. That was her. I heard something like that had happened. Never got the name, though. Kiss. They are not in love, and I do not ship it. Talk about bad luck. We finally get a lead, only to find it's turned into a literal dead end. She's clearly into women. True. Clap those lips! Oh god, gotta whip out the wooden clappers. Unless her death was the whole reason Jonoichi was so shaken up. He said she was going to curse him. Was he talking about her taking revenge from beyond the grave? Shipping discourse in the chat. Seems like we're back to where we started. Not necessarily. That teacher knows something, I'm sure of it. At the very least, I'd put my money on him having something to do with Miss Shiraishi's death. I got more orange juice while I was away. That's why he's so scared of being cursed by her. There's never discourse in the chat. How silly. I see. And also, something tells me he knows more about your son's kidnapping. In any case, I think I've got a good idea of what he's hiding. Call it a hunch. A hunch? Well, more of a theory. Care to take a guess? Is he also a curse bearer? I can guess. I can't say for certain, but... Laura, I would love to see you with a perm. Let's freaking go. But oh my god, imagine how long it would take for them to do that to your hair. Forever. What if Mr. Jonoichi silenced Michio with a curse? Sorry, I need to cough. Too much talking make me cough. Late night ASMR perm stream? Hey, I would so watch that. Really destroys Laura's hair stream. I would love to see that. Man, that would be such a long stream. It would be like 6 hours. It seemed to me that he was more scared of what someone else might do. That might be a little far-fetched. I see. I'm sorry if I disappointed you. Yeah, I'll do the commentary. Yeah, I'll be like, now Billy is putting in the 5th roller. Slowly tightening it, pinning it in place. Looks like we've only got about 85% of the head left to go. Sounds like a lot of fun. Honestly, it'd probably be very relaxing. Everyone would fall asleep. I'm not really cut out to play detective. Well, no point in dwelling on speculation. The truth will out in time. Right now, I think we need to have another chat with Mr. Jonoichi. True, perfect for ASMR indeed. Sleepy time ASMR. Okay, it's his turn. I've been poking around places connected to the 7 mysteries, looking for curse bearers. And I think I've found a few candidates. This guy! We killed this guy last time. First, a tall man I ran into in Kinchibori Park. I asked him for directions, trying to probe him a little, but he turned the questions right back around on me. And he was out of there the second he figured out I wasn't what he was looking for. I got the sense curses were nothing new to him. I'm about 40% sure he's a curse bearer. I think we discovered that he wasn't in our playthrough. Our first. Then there's this middle-aged guy I saw on South Warigasui Street. There's no question about this one. He had one of the curse stones in his hand. He had a nervous air about him too. It was clear he was up to some shady business. Gathering soul dregs, I bet. He'd make a good target. These guys, they're the ones who really puzzled me at the end. Next up is a pair, a young man and a woman I saw around Ryogoku Bridge. This time, the man came up to me and asked me flat out if I was a curse bearer. Told him I didn't know what he was talking about, and he backpedaled and left. Are we calling heads or tails? I'll agree, tails. Looks like they lurk around there often. Looking for kindred spirits would be my guess. Though it didn't seem like they were quite working as a pair. Gathering soul dregs in a group might be a decent idea if you can make it work. But with things being how they are, it's gotta be hard to find folks one can trust. What I win. They've got brass, though. I don't know what their deal is, but I'd like to find out. Ah, you were deciding between quiet or loud? Goodbye. Which one was it? That's the two detectives I've seen sniffing around. The police are involved? Not necessarily. A body turned up in a local park a few days ago, so they might just be looking into that. Still, the park's got ties to one of the 7 mysteries. Might be it was a curse the guy was in. And if they're sending the detectives from head office, something's gotta be up. How do you know where they're from? Let's just say that when you're in this business, there are some faces you get to know. Quiet goodbye it is, alright. See you later, Bard. Have a good rest. I hope you have a chill day off tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, I appreciate it. Yahoo! I can't see Yahoo without thinking of Yahoo. Yeah, you get out of here, it's 2:30. It's time for rest. Anyway, that's everybody who caught my eye. I found all of them in so little time. I really did hire the best. I know it's only been an hour. It's all in the name, ma'am. Richter Kai, P.I. Love you too, Bard. Sleep well. No, wait. Make that Richter Kai investigator extraordinaire. My, an investigator extraordinaire. Is that why you can dress like that without drawing attention to yourself? You bet. An investigator extraordinaire can blend in like a chameleon in any outfit. Well, that aside, the middle-aged man and young woman couple sound the most promising, am I right? Whichever we pick, it's still too early to make a move. Seems like the curse bearers are less involved with each other than we thought. Plus, there are still others we don't know about. I say we hang fire and see how things play out. Once more bodies start showing up, that'll get the pot nice and hot. And once it's boiling, our chance will come. Didn't you want to tell me something? I've already said everything I wanted to say. I see. So that's all we have to talk about. We are on Komogata Bridge, over the Sumida River. There's a highway on one side and a freeway on the other, but they're both deserted this late at night. Oh, what's the update? One of the bridges spanning the Sumida River. Completed in 1927 as part of the reconstruction effort following the Great Kanto earthquake, it is notable both for its distinctive blue arches and the cutting edge, for the time, techniques used in its construction. There are many bridges stretching across the Sumida River, each boasting a unique structural form and design. Fun to learn. Ah, yes. Nothing else to say. Sumida River. The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful. Can I ask you something, ma'am? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Right, her son was found drowned in the Sumida River. Right, should have guessed. This was where they found him after he went missing. All alone, floating in that horrible water. All I can think is how scared he must have been, how cold he must have been. What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? I've come here every day since then. And I prayed to the river to give him back. To give me back my son. Day after day. You know, in olden times, people believed rivers marked where our world met the next. So the act of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Edo was founded, the people of Chuo saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the afterlife. That same place would later become Honjo. All their fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. But then the Ryogoku Bridge sprang up after the Great Fire of Meireki, and just like that, Honjo was part of the city too. And as it turned from farmland into a town, the people surrounded it with man-made rivers and crisscrossed it with canals and waterways. So this is Honjo. I think when I was there recently, we stayed maybe like around here. Weren't those to prevent flooding? That's what I was told. They were, but that's not all they were for. Their other purpose was to contain all the corruption that had built up on the far shore, and stop it leaking through to our side of the Great Divide. Flooding, just like the place I stayed at, that's true! How spooky indeed. Officially, they were a physical barrier, but unofficially, they were a spiritual one too. So if I have this right, are you saying that Honjo is a place where the real world meets the afterlife? Exactly. That's why the rite of resurrection is here rather than anywhere else. I'm sure of it. And it's probably why the seven mysteries and their curses have survived to the modern day. And I guess that would make this spot we're standing right now, right over the water, the border between life and death. If there ever was a place where bringing back the dead might be possible, I reckon it's here. It's funny that you mentioned praying to the river. I might have done more than you think. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Just thinking aloud, ma'am. Well, it's a nice thought. The Sumida River is a Class A river that is part of the Arakawa River system, which runs through much of eastern Tokyo and empties into Tokyo Bay. During the Edo period, Sumida's riverbanks played a key role in the transportation of lumber used for construction. In addition to its logistical importance, it was also a place for common folk to gather and enjoy activities such as seasonal flower viewing or river bathing, and there exist many woodblock prints depicting such activities. The area became plagued with sewage issues when the surrounding environs were industrialized in the post-war period, but the situation has improved since. Many unique bridges span the Sumida River, including the Ryogoku Bridge and Azumabashi bridges, which attract a large number of visitors as sightseeing spots. Massive firework displays in the summer are also always sure to draw a crowd. The river has served as a cornerstone for both the city and its people, having both aided in its development and serving as an inspiring backdrop for countless works of art and literature. Very influential, it sounds. Ryogoku was the subway stop, the metro stop before the one we were staying at. So that also sounds familiar to me. It's cool to have been there and also to like be learning history about the area through this game. Let's take a look at Richter. He's gazing down at the water. What does he see down there, I wonder? The afterlife! Is there anything else to say about the Sumida? Oh, that's right. There's one more memory I have of this river. Do you mind if I tell you? Go ahead. Must have been around 20 years now, when I was still a schoolgirl. Back then, the Sumida River was much filthier than it is now. It was full of garbage and industrial discharge. Ugh. It was scummy and slimy, and it stank. You could look out over the water and see dead cats and dogs and pigeons just floating. That sounds really horrendous! I've never seen a body of water that disgusting. And one day, among all that filth and garbage, there was a piece of my missing classmate's hand! Your missing classmate's hand? What? It was almost a miracle when you stopped to think of it. What were the chances that someone would find a part of her that was still recognizable? And that, although everything but the palm had rotted away in the water, the part that was left would have an identifiable, and that the part that remained would have an identifiable scar, and that they could tell it had been a murder from the blade marks on the bone. Wait, are you talking about the Najima murders? This lady was like, BTW, and then told you something horrendous. I know, I'm like reeling right now. So you have heard of it. I'm impressed. I mean, it sounds like a big thing. I assume you were but an elementary schooler at the time. I wasn't really aware of it then. I only heard about it after the fact. I had no idea the victim was a classmate of yours. The Najima murders. A notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student. It first came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human's left hand was discovered, floating in the Sumida River. Testing revealed it to belong to a missing female high school student. As it appeared to have been severed deliberately, the police launched a murder investigation. A large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of the water made this impossible. Visibility was poor, the stench was intense, and the divers quickly fell ill. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's head, and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. At the time of the incident, the Sumida River was as polluted as it had ever been. Neither fish nor shellfish could survive in it, eventually causing the annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. Man, I'm pretty curious if this is true or not. Over the course of the search, the police discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public, as several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area, and it was feared that they may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Due to the overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until a hitherto unrelated individual came to its attention. During a questioning about a separate incident, Fumichika Najima, a 36-year-old shop owner with no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Oh, so he's questioned about something completely different, and he brought up details of this woman. Najima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street and confined her in the underground storeroom of his shop, which also served as his living quarters. He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target on seeing her walking alone at night. How horrendous! After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, and severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter. As she screamed silently behind her sealed lips, he proceeded, She died of blood loss. This is a lot! Truly! So she was disposed behind his home in the Sumida River before he cleaned his storeroom and returned to his everyday routine as if nothing happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. Once apprehended, Najima readily divulged the details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked, he would only break down in tears, saying, "I don't know what came over me. I know it was wrong." And in the end, the police could extract nothing more from him than expressions of remorse, although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he had committed similar crimes in the past. No corroborating evidence ever came to light. Najima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant. Wow. Huh. So she knew that person. Ah, this is the guy. Okay. To be honest, it was all a bit of a blur. A wave of chaos just parting around me. Something like that. They said the rest of her body must have sunk to the bottom of the river. They combed the riverbed, but they only ever found pieces. Everything else must have rotted and flowed out to sea. Afterwards, I heard that all the divers who had been looking for her fell ill. A sorry story for everyone involved, huh? It's funny. Everyone figures the river's filthy already, so one more piece of garbage won't hurt. But every little bit makes it worse. It's a vicious cycle. I know I wouldn't want to go rooting around down there myself. That's right. Which is why the riverbed is the last place anyone would go looking. Or so was the killer's thinking, I suppose. The times were changing quickly back then. Things were confusing. Everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Young people were moving into Tokyo in droves. Some even ran away from home to make it in the big city. And they made easy targets for bad people. A lot of them ended up disappearing without a trace. You see, back then, you chopped a body up into tiny pieces and threw it in the river, it would rot quickly and discreetly and sink to the bottom, never to be seen again. Are you saying what I think you're saying? They arrested him shortly after, Umichika Najima, the man who killed my classmate and cut her into pieces. He was so methodical about it. It couldn't have been his first crime. And people began to worry how many other girls he'd murdered the same way. Police never found any evidence of other murders in the end. But the river knows the truth. How many corpses has it swallowed up over the years, I wonder? That same thought spread through everyone's mind, and they started to avoid this area. So really, this river has been rank with corruption for decades now. Or at least, that's how it seems to me. Well, was that interesting? Well, I can see why you don't have any good memories of this river. With all that darkness lurking beneath the surface, there's no reason that you would. Still, if I may, ma'am, I'm surprised you know so much about the Najima murders. But how could I not? After all, I was the one who found the hand. The police actually wrote me a thank you letter. They said it was only thanks to me that they managed to bring Najima to justice. That was the only time my father ever said he was proud of me. I guess it just wasn't the killer's day. Sometimes I wonder if he resents me for it. I know she's crazy. She is a crazy lady. She is super spooky. It's interesting to be like playing as such a character. Is she about to murder Richter? Like, girl. Is something wrong? Not really. It just struck me it's been 20 years since the Najima murders. So it has. Not to spook you or anything, but I thought you might be interested in knowing. Life in prison doesn't always mean life. There's precedent for first-time offenders being allowed out on parole after 20 years. Only if they're found to show remorse and the desire to reform themselves, of course. That's right, I'm impressed you know so much. I mean, he works in this business. Still, it's hard for someone with a criminal record to reintegrate into society. I hear they've been trying to fix that recently, matching inmates with jobs and accommodation. Is he implying that our son's murderer could be this same person who had a vendetta against us? Curious theory. Oh, really? I keep an eye on them, of course, and make them report in for regular checkups. But to avoid discrimination, they keep the inmates' records a secret from everyone but their employers. They even give particularly notorious criminals new identities so they won't be recognized in the workplace. My. The way you put it. It's like you're saying Fumichika Najima could be out on parole right now. Back in society under a new name with nobody the wiser. It's possible. As it happens, a little birdie told me about a big name making parole a few months back. I don't know if it was Najima, but our discussion just now did bring it to mind. I see. How unsettling. Now that you mention it, I just remembered something too. What was it? I was passing Komagara High School a little while ago when I saw someone. A janitor, I think. And I could have sworn he reminded me of Fumichika Najima. Oh? He looked a little different after 20 years. Told myself I was just seeing things, but perhaps it was him after all. She doesn't seem unsettled, surprisingly. I also love the organ sting. It's so good. What next? The big question now is what the rest of the curse bearers are up to. Luckily, the Sumida River is a good distance from any of the 7 mysteries. It's unlikely the other curse bearers will come all the way here. I could finally have a moment to think. I see. All right. Suspend? You cannot currently progress any further. Once your situation has changed, select Resume to try again. Pressing Suspend will return you to the story chart. Huh. Okay. So that's as far as we can get on that path right now. We got suspended! Oh no! I guess we'll start Tetsuo's at the crime scene investigation. Tetsuo Tsutsumi, Chief Inspector of the Metropolitan Police Department, 1st Investigative Division, is investigating the mysterious death of a fellow officer. He visits the scene of the incident, the former Yasuda Gardens, with his subordinate, Jun Ario. 11 p.m. We're at the gardens. This is where we found that woman in our first character playthrough. Hey boss, forensics is all done. Crime scene's ready. The other officers are all gone home. It's just us now. The park should be able to open back up tomorrow like nothing ever happened. I doubt it'll get many visitors after everything that's happened. You'd be surprised. Lots of people love that kind of thing. I bet they'll be lining up to get in. Occult stuff is really popular right now. Did you know that, boss? Sounds stupid. Well, it's not exactly rooted in science, but if ghosts really did exist, we could just ask them who the perp is. Somehow I doubt it'd be that simple. Oh, but you know, I've heard that at high school girls are really into this spirit board thing these days. They love a Ouija board. Supposedly you can call on spirits and talk to them by using a board with letters on it. Wouldn't that be something? Oh, I also got these earrings when I was in Japan. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're like, Me attempting to show earrings. They're like a little hand with a pearl, and they're both a little different. I like them. Try it out yourself if you're so interested. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Let's give it a go sometime, boss. What now? Stop messing around. You really think we're gonna solve this case by moving a coin across a scrap of paper? Sounds like you know all about it. Gotta be open-minded. What if that's how police work is gonna be from now on? Don't make me laugh. Spirit board. Due to the occult craze, divination has become popular among young boys and girls. All one needs is a coin and a piece of paper with letters and numbers written on it. Using these, all one has to do is ask a question of the called upon spirit, and it will move the coin and answer. It is believed to be a tool that was adapted from Western spiritualism and molded by Japanese occult enthusiasts. Though it is considered a form of divination, the ritualistic nature of its usage can cause self-hypnosis or autosuggestion, leading to hallucinations or symptoms similar to spirit possession. Many schools banned these spirit boards after there were several cases of students sneaking into schools at night, in addition to stories of people having seizures when using the boards. Oh, that's a little creepy. Listen up, Barrio. I love his little lips. Can't go blaming the death of your buddy on something like the occult. I don't care if it was ghosts or the occult or what. Whoever or whatever it was that did this. I'll get them. I promise you that. Man, this is so Naruto of him. Believe it! Oh my god, yes. We're old, so we're kind of like more of an Itachi type, I'd say. Or maybe we're maybe we're someone else. I think you've got the right attitude, but I don't even know if this thing is a murder yet. Biases weaken our judgment. Get too fixated on one thing and you stop seeing everything else. Kakashi, yes, I literally forgot Kakashi's name. He's giving Kakashi. And Jun is giving, he's giving Naruto. You also forgot? How could we forget? I guess we haven't talked about Kakashi in too long. That's kind of embarrassing of us. He's so beauty. Perfect man. Aye, aye, boss. So, now that we've finished investigating the scene, let's review what we know. Now? It's getting late. I figured we'd head straight home from here. Come on, we gotta go over all the info we've gathered. And what better place to do it than here at the scene of the crime where we can soak up the atmosphere. Soak up the atmosphere? The hell is there to soak up? Must be really into this occult stuff if you get off on being in a place like this. Wait, you mean somewhere like this doesn't get your blood pumping? No way. No, don't turn this around on me. I'm not the weird one here. Cripes. Ugh, fine. Let's get this over with. Aye, aye, boss. About the case. So, early in the morning yesterday. This is a case we haven't heard anything about yet. When we first ran into these characters, as the first person we played as, the young man, he just talked to them briefly. We didn't, like, get too much of the gist on, like, why they were here. A staff member found the victim collapsed here in the park and called the police when they realized he was dead. While there were no obvious external wounds, the fact that he was a police officer and the evidence of a struggle means it's likely that this was a murder. The Sumida office sent it over to us since it involved the death of an officer, and we were tasked with the investigation. What we need to do is figure out what happened and whether there was foul play involved. I think that about sums things up. But, boss? Yeah? Is this case really important enough to assign to someone from the investigation division? I mean, a friend of mine died, so it's important to me, but it's all up to the higher-ups. I'm sure they've got their reasons. Boss, You know something, don't you? It's all because it'll all become clear in time. Try not to worry about it too much. Love his little faces. Thinking about it. The only thing we know for sure is the identity of the victim. That means there must have been something special about him, right? Maybe he knew something he wasn't supposed to. Some kind of secret or something. Isn't that right? You're pretty sharp sometimes, you know that? You picked up on that, you should be able to put the rest together yourself. Well, it's our duty to get to the bottom of a suspicious death, especially one involving an officer. About the victim. The victim is Hajime Yoshimi of the Juvenile Division of the Sumida City Community Safety Bureau. 27 years old, single. He mostly dealt with cases involving juveniles and education. His rank was senior police officer. It's interesting how a lot of this involves the police, like the woman we were just playing as and this. I'm interested in seeing how everything kind of links together. You knew him well, didn't you? What was he like? Yes, we were in the academy together. Okay, his face. He's giving handsome Squidward. We still went out for drinks together every month or two. Okay, but right? He could be a little rowdy, but he was like a big brother to us all. He was kind. He cared about his friends. For better or worse, he wasn't the uptight type of a cop. The man always showed empathy, and I heard he was popular with the locals for it. He treated each and every troubled kid he met with compassion. He had a great track record when it came to rehabilitation. Sounds like we lost a good one. Yeah, we did. We truly did. I knew being a cop was dangerous. I knew something like this would happen, but it's never easy when it happens for real. I know the feeling. He didn't seem to care much about climbing the ranks, but he was at the top of our class. The only problem was he took on so much. He had the most unfinished paperwork too. I always felt we needed an unusual guy like him to help us solve all our unusual cases. Hajime. Hajime was a police officer with the Sumida City Community Safety Bureau. That's a mouthful. And was primarily responsible... Okay, we read that. Once a rebellious gang member himself, Yoshimi turned his life around and used his own experiences to connect with troubled youth as a police officer. While his appearance and demeanor suggested a man who was rough around the edges, he was a passionate, loyal, and caring man at heart, looked up to as a big brother by his peers. Yoshimi achieved stellar results in his work with juvenile cases, but his consistently sloppy paperwork and less than formal attitude essentially doomed his career and had him writing formal apologies on the regular. He left behind a fiancée whom he had been dating since high school. Sad, his high school sweetheart. Don't worry, you're plenty unusual yourself. Me? I was the most normal of my classmates. Besides, the real weirdo among us quit the academy a long time ago. There was one even weirder than you? His kissy lips are so good, they're really silly. Hajime was quite the bad boy in school, apparently. He ended up with the police a lot. He said the officer in charge was good to him, helped him get back on track. The reason he wanted to become a cop was to pay his kindness forward, but it was the first time he ever took his studies seriously. It's a good story. Love that kind of thing. Makes me want to have a drink in his honor. Please don't make fun of my dead friend. Hey, I said in his honor. You should aspire to become the kind of cop people miss when they die in the field. You say that like it's a sure thing I'll die. Besides, if I end up biting it, I'm sure you'll be the one who misses me the most, boss. Come on, don't be like that. You'll hurt morale. I guess it depends. I guess how much I'll miss you depends on how this investigation goes. I can already see it. Ario, no. Why'd you have to go and get yourself killed? I have no idea what's going on in that head of yours. Yeah, that'll be a sight to see. I can't wait. You can't wait for your own death. Get it together, kid. Sheesh, you really are something. Thank you? They're a funny duo. It's interesting having them right after having that very bleak woman. Certainly a change of tone. I love having Miss Miku here beside me. She loves this game. What about the victim's family? The Yoshimi family is from Kitasenju in Adachi City, but Hajime's parents died a long time ago. He lived there all alone, no siblings or anything. Went to his house a few times for drinks. I was surprised. It's this huge, old-looking place. Like, you know, the kind of place that seems super haunted. And he lived there alone? Looked like the home of an old noble family. It was hard to imagine him being such a delinquent living in a house like that. There's that bias I was talking about. He's from an old family. I'm sure things were complicated. That's a bias, too. He never talked about any of that. Even when we were drunk. I don't know much about it. Oh, one more thing. Yeah? Hajime was engaged. He'd been seeing his fiancée ever since they were in school, over 10 years. They'd just started talking about getting married. What was her name again? She showed me a picture once. She was a beautiful woman. That's so. How terrible for her. But she may know if there was anything going on with them lately. We should speak to her. I wonder if she's involved in all this too, if she's like a character that we know. Yeah, his fiancée may have been his only confidant. I'm sure someone at the Sumida Police Department has already contacted her. I'll look into it tomorrow. More about the victim? Hey, boss? I looked into that case that Hajime was running. Oh, great, that's the kind of stuff I want to know. What was Hajime working on the day he died? Well, according to his report from the day before, he had 2 cases involving juveniles. The first was the suicide of a high school girl who jumped off a building in Kamizawa last week. Okay? We're familiar with this? Yeah, I did hear about that. Girl's name was Michio. She was a second-year student at Komagata High School. Her braids were cute. But it seems as though Hajime had contact with her even before this incident. So she'd been troubled for some time. That's the thing. About a month ago, he happened to see her walking around town. She looked upset, so he struck up a conversation with her. He was sure there was something bothering her, but she wouldn't tell him what. Maybe a family member or someone died, somebody she wanted to resurrect, and that's why she got into the curse thing. Must have been troubled at home. That's what he thought too. Seems he visited her home and spoke to her parents, but he said there was no problem, so there was nothing else he could do. And now she's dead. Possible he could have prevented her suicide then. He must have been devastated. And that's why he was looking into this Michio thing again. He must have thought something terrible had happened to her that drove her to end her life. But ultimately, he never reported the findings of his investigation. I see. And you're thinking that it may have had something to do with his death. I'll have to find out what it is Hajime discovered. Right. Let's check with the Sumida Police Department about that tomorrow, too. Wonder if we'll make it to tomorrow. More about the victim? What was that other case he was working on? This one is also related to a Kamagata High School student. A troublemaker named Hitomi Okuda. She seems to be the leader of a group of kids who get up to no good. Juvenile delinquency, fun. She was pretty bad for a while. Multiple charges of destruction of property, assault, and battery, you name it. Hajime had been working with her for about 6 months, and she was finally starting to open up. Then, he met with the girl the day he died. Well, every school's got its problems. But I'm sure he'd be worried about how she'd get on without him. Right. Just when she'd finally found an adult she could trust. She might act out without someone to help her get through this. We'll have to make sure the Sumida Community Safety Bureau does their job. But, can't rule out the possibility that meeting with this delinquent girl had something to do with his death. We'll have to interview her too. Yeah, you're right. She may have been the last person to see him alive after all. I'll ask Sumida to introduce us tomorrow. Though, who knows if they'll actually let us talk to her. That's what we hired you for. Lay a little boyish charm on them if they need convincing. Oh, the lips. Yeah. I'm sure they'd prefer me over a scary-looking old man like you, boss. Watch it. I'm still your superior. I'd act like you respect me at least. Oh, I thought I was. You were? That's just how your generation speaks? You really are a new breed. It's probably just me, actually. Well, don't you think you can get away with that with other people? So anyway, boss. Were you even listening? We've got quite a bit to look into tomorrow. First, the two Komagata high school cases that Hajime was handling. We need to speak with his fiancée as well. I believe that's it for tomorrow. Notes on Hajime Yoshimi. Estimated time of death 2 days prior, approximately 11 a.m. Oh, so during the day. Cause of death, heart failure. That definitely seems like it could be from a curse bearer. Body discovered by the groundskeeper. End of a struggle found at the scene. Okay. That was good. We learned some things. Okay, about the cause of death. As for the cause of death, we won't know until the autopsy is done. From what we've seen, though, it'd appear to be some kind of acute heart failure. But since he had no record of chronic illness and had no visible wounds, it's possible that poison or drugs could have been involved. Dying in the middle of a park like that certainly seems suspicious. We found signs of a struggle at the scene, as well as footprints belonging to an unidentified individual. We got people trying to identify those prints. If we can find who they belong to, we might be able to figure out this whole thing. Yes, wouldn't that be nice if it were just the end of it? The only things Hajime had on him were his badge and his wallet in his pockets. So we can rule out a mugging. Though there probably aren't many people who'd think of mugging a cop as big as him. I also heard that Hajime got into a fair few fights in his younger days. He started judo once he became an officer and rose up the ranks pretty quickly. Sounds like the perp would have had to be pretty strong to take on Hajime. Oh, I thought it said it was 11 a.m. Time of death was around 11 p.m. 2 days ago, outside the park's operating hours, of course. Maybe it was a typo. His body was found early in the morning yesterday. Oh, I see. So he's found in the morning. He died late at night. Around this time. What was Hajime doing here at that time in the first place? That's the question, isn't it? The entrance to the park is closed after hours, but it's a small gate that'd be fairly easy for him to get through if he really wanted to. That would, of course, be breaking and entering, but what do you think, boss? Oh, this is tricky. Someone called him here, or he came here to hide something? I'm gonna do someone called him here. Like, what would he need to hide? It's hard to imagine a cop like Hajime would trespass for no reason. And since it seems like someone else was here with him, would they have called him here? Oh, that does seem likely. They must have been talking about something pretty sensitive to come here in the middle of the night. So Hajime met someone here to discuss something in secret. And then they got into a fight? No, that wouldn't match the cause of death. There were no wounds on the body that would indicate a spontaneous scuffle. Bert must have planned something. Then you think it was meditated? That would mean they called Hajime to the park with the intent to kill him? Well, there is the possibility that it was just some kind of accident. Maybe the perp tried to threaten Hajime and things went south from there. Something that's kind of unclear is like, is this all on the same day? I think it is. I think it all takes place like the same night. Should be able to get a clearer picture once we know exactly what killed him. Right. About Tsutsumi. But either way, I'm so glad you're back in the first division, boss. I've always admired your work. You're like a god to me. You're the whole reason I became a detective in the first place. Yeah, about that. People have been saying that ever since you first entered the academy, but... Yes, that's because it's true. I couldn't believe you got transferred out of the first, just as I was assigned to it. So getting to work on a case like this now, just the two of us, it's a dream come true. Happy as I am to hear that, well, how should I put it? What is it? If that's true, I'm not sure you've been showing me the appropriate amount of respect. Huh? But I do respect you. Don't tell me you're going senile, boss. That's exactly what I'm talking about, when you run your mouth like that. It's getting late, you must be sleepy. Don't worry, boss, I'll make sure we get out of here soon. Yeah, I get it. That's really silly. I love their dynamic. I hope we get to play as these two for a while. I've been wowed by your shrewd detecting abilities all day today. Oh, really? Funny, I've been wowed by you too. Oh, we're looking at him. Jun Area, a detective in the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. His rank is sergeant. This is his first time leading a case. Like he's graduated from rookie to newbie. Looks put together on the outside, but acts like a kid most of the time. Honestly, the force could use more people like him. On the topic of family, what was yours like, boss? The hell is wrong with you? Prying into my personal life all of a sudden? It's just, I've never heard you talk about them or anything. Oh, are you single? Are you hitting on me? No. Shut it, that's none of your business. Well, ever since I joined the force, I've been thinking we should go on a date. The department really pressures young officers to get married. I wonder why that is. You don't say anything like that, though. How should I know? I caved to the pressure myself and got married 20-some years ago. Huh? So then... God, you're relentless. She took our daughter and left 4 years ago. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't believe she'd give up on a guy like you. I was never home much. Too focused on work. Come home late only to get called right back out again. Plus, being a cop is dangerous work. Don't blame her for getting fed up with it all. How sad. Especially when you're out here putting your life on the line. Oh, is that why you transferred out of the first? It was already too late by then. You'd better be careful, Ario. You say that, but there's not much I can do, is there? It's the nature of our job. There aren't many who can really understand it, not unless they're involved with police work themselves or related to someone who is. But wait, you have a daughter, boss? You really think I want to talk about her after all that? Have some sense! Come on, I promise I don't mean this the way it sounds, but how old is she? Geez, you don't know when to quit, do you? At least try not to look so intrigued. She's a bit rough around the edges. I think most men are intimidated by her. Last I heard, she's living by herself and going to college. Wow, a college student! Men love an educated lady. SMH. Stop that! What kind of cop are you making baseless assumptions like that? She's living on her own though, huh? You must worry about her. Worry? I don't even know where she lives. Oh, so she hasn't told you? Probably because she knows you'd follow her around everywhere. I would not! I don't think. Come on now, we both know that's not true. Listen here. You may look like a mean old man, but you sure have a soft side. What? Is that supposed to be a compliment? I can't keep up with you. We're done talking about this. I love making old men uncomfortable. Oh, that reminds me. If you got married 20 years ago, must have been Najima murder mention. Must have been right around the Najima murder. You know your history. You know that happened a year or two after our wedding. You were the one who arrested the killer, weren't you? We studied that case in the academy. I was only in elementary school at the time, but I still remember people talking about some dangerous criminal getting arrested. Well, that was just... Trying the case, finding the guy, it was all just happenstance. I'd really rather not think about it. It was a disturbing case. Did it not make your skin crawl when you learned about it at the academy? It did. We were all terrified. Sounds about right. No one could believe that such a mild-mannered man could have committed such a terrible murder. We had overlooked one little thing. We may never have caught him at all. I think I remember hearing there was only one charge brought against him in the end. That's right. We didn't have the evidence. I knew there was no way such a meticulously planned crime could have been there first, but... We may have struck Umichika in a cell, but it was no victory. He always had the upper hand. All the damage he did to everyone involved, especially the victim's classmates. Already been 20 years, huh? God damn it. This is why I try not to think about it. I'm sorry. About the occult. So all this occult stuff. You heard about it, boss? What are you talking about? This rite of resurrection thing everybody's talking about. No, not you too. I've been hearing about that everywhere. Oh, you have? That's surprising. Who cares what people are talking about? It's got nothing to do with our job. But don't you think the occult stuff with this case, I don't know, feels realer somehow? The whole thing started right here in Honjo, in Sumida City. So I thought that maybe... Cut it out. Nothing good can come of getting involved with that rite of whatever, or that record of fates. Sounds like you know all about it. Boss, are you secretly into the occult? Stop that! Seriously! This isn't a joke. I get why you'd be intrigued by something called the Rite of Resurrection after a buddy of yours died, but... Bringing the dead back to life, that's the stuff of fantasy. That's not real. So don't go hoping for miracles. Got it? Okay. There's nothing else for them to talk about. The former Yasuda Gardens here in Yokohama-ichon were originally built as part of the daimyo's estate back in the Edo period. The park became city property a number of years ago and underwent extensive renovations. There's not a soul around at this time of night. Quiet doesn't even begin to describe it. That's a little creepy. When we were here last time, we just happened to turn around and see that woman who we were just playing as there. Pond. This pond. They say it used to flow into the Sumida River. But the river became so polluted that they cut it off. Man, after this I need to do some Googling about the pollution of the Sumida area, because that's very interesting. Well, I feel like I don't have anything else to say to this guy. Think? Got a bad feeling about this case. My gut is rarely wrong. I knew this would be a treacherous case from the moment we were dragged into it. Is that all I can think about? I think so. We don't have anything else to talk to him about. I wonder if there's something to look at. We did come here kind of looking for clues. Oh, scene. There we go. This is where the victim was found. It's clean now. Almost feels like nothing happened here at all. But once an incident like this has come to pass, there's no going back. Not that knowing that is any consolation. Well, boss, I think that about does it. Right. Let's call it for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh god! What is it? Huh? Boss? What's wrong? Don't tell me you're going senile. Oh my god. He's getting a curse thing! It was that case all along. Boss? What is it? Is there something over there? Ah! Such deep sorrow. A resentful memory is flowing into my mind. Those who deceive. Falsehoods. Hung up forever. Kill them. Kill them. Those who spread lies, kill them all. You have acquired the power of the Curse Stone, the Evergreen Beach. You can use it to kill those who intentionally tried to mislead you. Press the use curse button when someone lies to you. Also, we can kill liars. It's kind of powerful for a cop. The Evergreen Beach. Ugh. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. Now. Who do we want to resurrect, though? Like, what is our cop guy's motive? Boss! Boss! Boss, what's the matter? Don't tell me you really went senile. Sorry. I'm fine. Ario. Yes? I have some bad news. Oh no. Your senility is kicking in, isn't it? No. We've got a bit of trouble on our hands. Looks like we'll be working some overtime. Not going home tonight. I know, I also literally cannot with his kissy lips. He is truly just going like this. About to have a busy evening. And it kicked us here. So the next is The Hunt for Curse Bearers Part 1. I wonder what they're gonna be doing. Very intriguing. Let's save our game. That is a good place to stop. I wasn't sure if we should start their section, but I'm glad that we did because I do feel like we got to a nice point. I had a nice time playing that game. I do really like Paranormighty. Tis a fun time. I wonder if anybody's on I would like to raid. Let's take a look around. The game did get great reviews on Steam. I know. I had heard it was a really, really good game. I'm curious. I feel like there's got to be more going on, you know? There's got to be things happening that we're not seeing yet. I feel like everything's gonna weave together really perfectly. Okay, question. Well, I'll ask you my question in a second. Thoughts on rating someone whose name is B-Barf, whose stream is designing a clown, and their tags are LGBTQ, queer, furry, art, artist, and Splatoon. They only have 13 followers, so they're small. Too bold? Give me the thoughts. Drawing a clown. Okay. We'll see. It's eternally risky rating randos, but I always like it when they seem a little interesting. So let's go check it out. B-Barf, a fellow bee. Bees supporting bees. All right, besties. Thanks for being here. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be with my usual schedule again. I'll be streaming my normal Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Animal Crossing. Excited to keep working on stuff. So I'll see you then. Have a good evening. Bye.